RSBC 2015 to allow the public to make representation to council respecting matters contained in zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.100, 2016. Every person present who believes that their interest in property is affected by the proposed bylaw shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard respecting matters contained in the proposed bylaw. None of you will be discouraged or prevented from making your views known. However, it is important that you restrict your remarks to matters contained in the proposed bylaw. When speaking, please proceed to the microphone and commence your remarks by clearly stating your name and address. If they wish, members of council may ask you questions following your presentation. However, the function of council at this public hearing is to listen to you rather than to debate the merits of the proposed bylaw. In accordance with the council procedure bylaw, presentations by members of the public shall be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes each. If a person has additional information that he is unable to provide within that time frame, he shall be given further opportunity to address council after all other interested members of the public have been heard for a first time. Please refrain from applause or other expressions of emotion during this public hearing so that we may ensure as impartial a hearing as possible. After this public hearing is adjourned, council members will not speak to the public on this matter until after the matter has been dealt with at a public meeting. After this public hearing has concluded, council may, without further notice, give whatever effect council believes proper to the representations made at this hearing. I will read the advertising, confirmation of advertising and posting requirements. Notice of the public hearing was given in accordance with the Local Government Act and the Community Charter by distributing the notice as follows. Publishing in 2 consecutive editions of the Osoyoos Times on July 27, 2016 and August 3, 2016. Placing the notice on the bulletin boards in the Town Hall and Planning and Development Services Department on July the 21st, 2016. Posting the notice on the town's website on July 21st, 2016 and distributed via e-news on July the 22nd, 2016. Mailing individual notices to all property owners and tenants of properties within 60 meters of the subject property on July the 25th, 2016, and installing the application signage on the subject property on July the 29th, 2016. So those have been done, and we will now have, I'm going to read the summary staff report, and then you're going to give the report. Okay, summary of staff report. Purpose of this meeting is to seek public input on zoning bylaw amendment number 1085.100, 2016, which received first and second readings on July the 18th, 2016. The proposed amendments in this bylaw include adding the following site-specific permitted uses for the airport industrial property located between the Osoyoos Airport and Highway 3 and legally described as Lot 2, Plan KAP 89085, DL 2450S, SDYD. Indoor automotive storage, repair and restoration and sales, and second is the caretaker suite with a maximum floor area of 100 meters squared. These amendments were initiated after the town received an offer to purchase subject to the approval of the site-specific permitted uses. And we do have a zoning report from Senior Planner Dilla Swang.
All right, thank you. So council gave first and second readings to the attached zoning amendments bylaw number 1085.100, 2016 during the regular open meeting on July 18, 2016. The text amendments that are proposed as part of the bylaw include adding the following site-specific permitted uses for the airport industrial property legally described as Lot 2, Plan KAP 89085, DL 2450S, SDYD. indoor automotive storage, repair and restoration and sales, and caretaker suites with a maximum floor area of 100 square meters. Since the town is the owner of the subject property and has received an offer to purchase subject to the approval of the above-mentioned site-specific permitted uses, the town is acting as the applicant for the zoning bylaw amendment. In terms of an overview, in terms of site description, as shown on the attached property location and aerial maps, the subject property is located on the north side of Highway 3 across from the Buena Vista Industrial Park. Situated to the south of the Osoyoos Airport, the vacant parcel is abutted by other vacant lands to the west and the east. It has a total area of 0.408 hectares and has access via a frontage road off of Highway 3. Proposed development. The prospective purchaser of the subject property wishes to construct a facility for the purpose of indoor automotive storage, repair and restoration, and sales. These uses are proposed to be located either within one building or within two separate buildings. A caretaker suite with a floor area up to a maximum of 100 square meters is also proposed. Moving on to policy discussion. So the subject property is located within the airport's industrial growth area and is currently designated as industrial in the town's official community plan. Applicable industrial development policies in the OCP include Policy 11-3, promotes related industrial and commercial service uses in conjunction with the Osoyoos Airport. Policy 11-4, promotes general industry on lands between Highway 3 and the Osoyoos Airport, and Policy 11-6 permits an accessory residence in any general industrial building for the proprietor's convenience and for added security. Since the parcel is located within the industrial development permits area, the proposed development will be subject to a development permits application following the zoning bylaw amendments process. In terms of zoning, the subject property, along with 6 adjacent lots, is currently zoned M1 General Industrial with site-specific provisions related to permitted uses and maximum building or structure height. Since the current list of site-specific uses does not include indoor automotive storage, repair and restoration and sales, along with a caretaker suite, these additional site-specific permitted uses are proposed for the subject lots. In terms of implications for the community, the proposed developments would allow the prospective purchaser to relocate an existing business and expand its operations within the community. Organizationally, the sale of the subject property is conditional upon the approval of the site-specific zoning bylaw amendment. The application has been forwarded to applicable referral agencies and departments for comments, including the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, since the property is within 800 meters of a provincial controlled access highway. MOTI has granted preliminary approval for the bylaw. If the bylaw is adopted, a development permit and a building permit will also be required for the proposed development. In terms of budget, the town is acting as the applicant for the zoning bylaw amendment. However, it will receive the proceeds of sale of the subject property once the transaction is closed following the approval of the bylaw. Significant dates. The public notice mentioned that a special open meeting will be held immediately after the public hearing on August 9th, if council wishes to give the bylaw further consideration. And in terms of sustainability, the proposed development would contribute to economic sustainability by diversifying the uses at the Osoyoos Airport's industrial subdivision lands. And at this point for council, council can convene into a special open meeting following the public hearing and gives third reading to zoning amendments bylaw number 1085.100 2016, or council can also defer giving third reading to the bylaw until a later date. And staff recommends option number 1.
Thank you very much. So What we're going to do now is have a look at any kind of correspondence that is received, and then we will have public presentations. So I do have one letter here. It's from South Okanagan Deck, Railing, and Glass. Read the zoning amendment bylaw 1085.100, Mayor and Council. I am in support of the proposed zoning amendment. The property, as described in the report, has been vacant since developed by the town of Osoyoos as an industrial park. The original intention to develop the property to support the Osoyoos Airport and related businesses was a good idea. However, the purchasers that I'm aware of had different plans for the property. The proposed changes to allow indoor automotive storage, repair, restoration, and sales, plus a caretaker suite, fit with the existing uses allowed in the Buena Vista Industrial Park. Yours truly, Clint Peterman, South Okanagan Deck and Railing. And I believe that's the only correspondence that we have. Okay, so we'll go to the public presentations, and I see that we have one. Mr. Lanier, would you like to come and speak to us, please?
Mayor McCardoff, councillors, I didn't really have much to say. I think you guys know which direction I'm headed with this. I just thought I would answer any questions if there was anything that would come up.
Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead. Councillor Greenberg.
So, JF, when is this all going to take place? How are we proceeding if we approve this zoning?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible, you're prepared to proceed?
Yes, I've already met with a builder on site as of last week.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough money to purchase the property outright, and then I'll start building the buildings as early as this fall, but I basically need to be operating out of that facility by spring.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's how aggressively I'll pursue that. But as you all know, contractors and subcontractors are really few and far between right now. So
And
I'll be at their mercy. It won't be on my schedule.
Well, it's just good to know that if we do approve this this zoning application, that you're going to move ahead, because we like to see some activity up there and let the community know that we're serious about future development.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be the last facility I think I need to build for my businesses in this town. I've moved around enough. Yeah.
That's right. Well, it's good.
Councillor Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. Hi, JF. Yeah, thanks for coming. And I have one, it's kind of a minor question. Have you talked with the drag racing folk, whatever model that may look at right now, and if there's going to be any impact with them and that type of thing? We do have a bit of an agreement with them to lease that property, and I'm just wondering if you've talked to them, if there's going to be any issues that you can think of.
I have a couple ways of approaching that. They've already had a meeting, and they're very aware that I've put an offer in to purchase this property. I'm sure they have their reservations because they've been using the land, and they need it for some of their activities. It was brought up in the meeting that I think it was 12 years ago. It was me and a local police officer that started the drag racing club. So as far as having a neighbor in that area, you couldn't do any better than having somebody that helped start the club and supports it strongly. So even if they have reservations, I will work around making sure that their interests are looked after.
Okay.
You
Thank
good
you.
with that, Gary?
I believe that the drag racing club applies to us on a yearly basis. Am I correct in that, Mr. Romenko?
That's right.
Oh,
Their agreement is on a year-to-year basis.
okay. So they have a couple more times this year. I think it's just September
I think
1st.
it's 3. I think there's 3 races left. Yeah.
Okay, so certainly before that, before it happens again next year, if they come and apply and it's available, that we can look and see how they may have to change a few things. I had a question, JF. I'm just. Of course, we all know that we're so pleased that the school is staying open, certainly assured for the next 2 years. I understand that you may have some people that you may need to hire to work in this facility, or do you have enough?
I've already moved 2 sets of families into town.
And they have
A little
kids?
prematurely, but yes.
Oh, good.
Not young children, but they do have kids. So
Okay, so you have, that is in well, we're glad to hear that's helping, for sure.
Apparently, he's pretty confident.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anybody
make a move
here.
in life, right? So it just
There doesn't seem to be anybody here that's going to argue with him, so yeah.
One's 10, I think, isn't it? One of the kids? It's 10 years old, I think, and the one family's got 3. 10,
Yes,
5,
the
and 3. And
Okay,
so,
good,
hey, we got a 10-year-old
Me-
that could
okay.
go to grade 7.
good.
And furthermore, I think I don't know how much discussion's been had in council, in chambers, or just out of chambers, but the racetrack that's coming and the clientele that I'm trying to take care of is something that we've never experienced, and it's hard to explain until you get there and you see it in real life. But there's world-class facility that will be paved here in the next 2 weeks, and it appears that I'm the only person sort of opening my arms to 160 members. So to say, hey, we're in business and we're going to help you sort of fulfill some of your dreams.
Most of us can't afford to belong to this club, but
Nor could I. Nor could I, but
the
it
only
made a lot
one's
of
not
business
Councillor
sense.
Campbell. No, we understand that that's one of the reasons for you opening this was
the biggest
to
reason.
store and fix some of the cars that will be here. Do either of you know when that? Okay, can you?
When that will be-
Yes, when it will be up and running and open to
Yeah.
be used.
The goal is to have the track paved and finished by approximately the 15th of September.
Oh.
And there'd be an event as early as the very beginning of October.
Okay, good. I'm assuming they won't want to leave their cars in your care over the winter, but
That's the idea.
some of them
yes.
might.
Yeah. So what happens is this sort of higher end clientele, oftentimes when they own a multiple amount of cars, most of them have car collections, if you will. I've dealt with some of them on the hot rod level, and this is a whole new thing to me. These are import exotics, and they are
Yes.
a different style of car. So by all intents and purposes, they have 4 wheels and a steering wheel and an engine. So what they would like to do is have us make improvements over the winter season and be able to improve their driving abilities during the summer.
Okay.
And then throughout the summer, we would maintain the cars, make sure they function, and they would the cars would reside in Asuyas.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we know that most businesses in Asuyas, most new businesses are offshoots of ones that are already here. So you've obviously picked up on that. So,
Last
anybody
comment.
else? Yeah, absolutely.
If you have any input from any of them as to, what they require in this community for assistance in encouraging, them to have a great lifestyle in our little community, I think it's just be wonderful if you just put some comments together and shoot them to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
tell
we
you
can
as-
see if we
You
can
hear of
take
any-
care of that. Mhm.
I can tell you as a matter of fact that there's 3 residences that have been purchased by people that had memberships already, to my knowledge.
Okay, good.
And we don't have a racetrack yet.
Yeah.
So that's how strongly everybody behind the momentum of this operation feels about it.
Okay.
We're all trying to put our feet forward because once the balloon starts to grow, it'll be hard to hang on to, and I don't want to lose a lot of that to
Sure.
Penticton or another community.
Yeah,
Good.
good.
So
Thank you. Councillor King, did you
I'm
have
just
something?
going to recommend option 1.
Oh,
I'll second that.
hang on, we're not doing that at this meeting.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is just
Oh,
a
yeah,
public
that's right.
hearing.
Sure.
So-
You said you recommended 1, so I thought that's what it was.
So we'll do that at the next meeting that we have. So is there anyone else who would like to speak? Gary,
Oh, yeah,
you don't want to
we've
speak?
got another meeting after this one.
No? Okay.
I can answer the drag race question if you.
Oh, well, I think we're okay with that. We probably understand the rules around that one. Okay, so I'm going to ask, thank you very much, Jeff. I'm going to ask if there are any further submissions. That's for the second time. Are there any further submissions? And for the third time, are there any further submissions? Thank you very much. Then we will have a motion to close this public hearing, correct? Councillor Campbell, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you very much, everybody. Now, Ms. Van Vienen asked if we could have a 5-minute break while she gets